Meiosis. Since genetics began in the early 1900s to apply Mendel's laws, they have wondered how much we could learn and do. Are we able to map a complete gene sequence for any species? Could we manipulate genes to create new characteristics or a new species? How many sets of genes do multicellular organisms inherit? The diploid cells of most adult organisms contain two complete sets of inherited chromosomes and two complete sets of genes contained in these chromosomes. Chromosomes are the carriers of genes. Chromosomes are strands of DNA and protein inside the cell nucleus. The genes are located in specific positions on chromosomes. A body in the adult fruit fly has 8 chromosomes, as shown in the figure: green, purple, red, and orange. 4 of the chromosomes come from its male parent, and 4 come from its female parent. These sets of chromosomes are homologous, meaning that each of the 4 chromosomes from the male parent has a corresponding chromosome from the female parent. A cell that contains sets of homologous chromosomes is diploid, meaning 2 sets. The diploid number of chromosomes is sometimes represented by the symbol 2n. For the fruit fly, the diploid number is 8, which can be written 2n equals 8, where n represents the number of chromosomes in a sperm or an egg cell. Some cells contain only a single set of chromosomes and therefore a single set of genes. Such cells are haploid, meaning 1 set. The gametes of sexually reproducing organisms are haploid cells. For the fruit fly gametes, the haploid number is 4, which can be written as n equals 4. How does a cell produce an egg or sperm? Meiosis is the process in which the number of chromosomes per cell is cut in half through the separation of homologous chromosomes in a diploid cell. Meiosis usually involves 2 distinct divisions called meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. By the end of meiosis 2, the diploid cell becomes 4 haploid cells, ready for the union with another haploid cell in reproduction. The phases of meiosis. This is an introduction page, an overview. Let me quickly go through this. It's meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. The meiosis 1 is the first cell division, and then meiosis 2 is the second cell division, which actually creates 4 cells because already there's 2 cells from meiosis 1. So meiosis 1, interphase, chromosomes are duplicated. Prophase, homologous chromosomes form a tetrad. Metaphase, paired homologous chromosomes line up across the center of the cell. Anaphase, the spindle fibers pull pairs apart. And telophase, a nuclear membrane forms around each of the chromosomes. And cytokinesis, the one cell splits into 2 cells. So meiosis 2 is very similar to this. It's the splitting of these 2 cells now into 4 cells. The steps are repeated except for interphase, which had duplicated the chromosomes. Well, now that they're duplicated, they can split into halves because that is meiosis, production of sex cells, which are haploid cells. Just prior to meiosis 1, the cell undergoes a round of chromosome replication called interphase 1. Each replicated chromosome consists of 2 identical chromatids joined at the center, and the chromosomes are in the nucleus. In prophase 1, the cell begins to divide and the chromosomes pair up, forming a structure called a tetrad, which contains 4 chromatids. The spindle beginning to form, and the tetrads are duplicates formed together. In prophase 1 continued, as homologous chromosomes pair up and form tetrads, they undergo a process called crossing over. First, the chromatids of the homologous chromosomes cross over one another. They're close enough to cross over, and then they split and share equally. The cells begin to divide and the chromosomes pair up, forming a structure called tetrad, which contains 4 chromatids. Continuing in prophase 1, then the crossed section of the chromatids are exchanged. Crossing over is important because it produces new combinations of alleles in the new cell. Metaphase and anaphase. As prophase ends, a spindle forms and attaches to each tetrad. So the green lines, the spindle, they connect to the tetrad, each one. During metaphase of meiosis, paired homologous chromosomes line up across the center of the cell. So these are duplicated, pair here, pair here, pair here, pair here, and the spindles grab a hold of them. During anaphase 1, spindle fibers pull each homologous chromosome pair toward the opposite end of the cell. When anaphase is complete, the separated chromosomes cluster at opposite ends of the cell. The spindle fibers pull them apart. During telophase 1, a nuclear membrane forms around each cluster of chromosomes. Cytokinesis follows telophase 1, forming 2 new cells. Telophase, and then cytokinesis separates the two. So the end of meiosis 1 results in 2 cells called daughter cells, each of which has 4 chromatids, as it would after mitosis. Because each of the pair of homologous chromosomes was separated, neither daughter cell has the 2 complete sets of chromosomes that it would have in a diploid cell. The 2 cells produced by meiosis 1 have sets of chromosomes and alleles that are different from each other and from the diploid cell that entered meiosis because of that crossover. Piece of red and a piece of yellow. The 2 cells produced by meiosis 1 now enter a second meiotic phase. Unlike the first division, neither cell goes through a round of chromosome replication before entering meiosis 2. So prophase directly, as the 2 cells enter prophase 2, their chromosomes, each consisting of 2 chromatids, become visible. The chromosomes do not pair to form tetrads because the homologous pairs were already separated during a meiosis 1. During metaphase of meiosis 2, chromosomes line up in the center of each cell. As the cell enters anaphase 2, the paired chromatids separate. For the cell shown here, each of the 4 daughter cells produced in meiosis 2 receives 2 chromatids. These 4 daughter cells now contain the haploid number N, just 2 chromosomes each. The haploid cells produced by meiosis 2 are gametes. In male animals, these gametes are sperm. In some plants, pollen grains contain haploid sperm cells. In female animals, generally only one of the cells produced by meiosis is involved in reproduction. The female gamete is called an egg in animals and an egg cell in some plants. Fertilization, the fusion of male and female gametes, generates new combinations of alleles in a zygote, a fertilized egg. This is where the sperm and the egg meet and form the first new cell that is self-reproducing. It is genetically related to its parents, but it is not either of them. After this, the zygote undergoes cell division by mitosis and continues to form a new organism according to the combined DNA received from its parents.